What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new video. I hope you are all having fantastic days, and if not, I am going to make your day a lot better by teaching you how to win on Deity every time. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? Because that is something you should definitely consider. Now, just so you guys know I'm not clickbaiting, I am going to tell you at the beginning of the video exactly what you need to do. So first up, take out a piece of paper. You could write it online, you could take out a lined paper, I don't care, just take out a piece of paper and then write down district placement, city placement, build order, tech order, culture order. All right, got that? Good. Now take out another piece of paper, trust me this is important, and write down early war. Now, after you got all that, you're either going to print it or you already have it on a piece of paper, so you don't need to print it, you idiot. You take the first paper, the one with district placement, city placement, and you're just going to piss on it. And then you're going to take the early war paper, go ahead, make a religion out of it, build a shrine, revere it, and pray to it, because that is what is going to get you to win early game. Now, all jokes aside, early war is the best way by far to win a game of Civilization 6 for a number of reasons. And before we get into it real quick, I am going to come out with a guide for early warfare. If you guys want to like, subscribe, comment, I will get that out by next week probably. Number one, more stuff equals more resources. If you take the AI stuff, you will have more stuff. It's just kindergarten math at that point. You take their science, it's going to incorporate into your empire science, and so on and so forth. And now, if you are good at early war, you will be able to win any single victory, any single difficulty, any single game. It is just that simple. Now, by good at early war, I mean you have to have about 3 or 4 brain cells, essentially. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Helen Keller could probably win a game of Civilization 6 with this AI. I mean, come on, guys. The AI are idiots. Not really the problem of the developers. It is hard to make the AI good at a strategy game like Civilization 6, but you don't even need to be good at early war. I don't care if you are Prince difficulty. If you can build horsemen and I guess just be sort of smart, you know, defend on a hill, use ranged units to attack, just beat bop boop cities with your horsemen, you will be able to win on Deity. It is just that simple. Now I'm going to split up this video. This is obviously the intro. We're going to do a little experiment, and then finally we'll get behind the mathematics and sort of the optimal strategy you want to develop, I guess. But yeah, let's get right into it. Now, while the time lapse is playing in the back, I will tell you guys exactly what the experiment is about. I played 2 different games. One game, I had 2 other civilizations. This is Deity difficulty, by the way. We got England and we got Mansa Musa of Mali. Pretty much what we did is we were going to settle 1 city, and then we had to conquer 8 more cities for a total of 10 cities. Every 10, 20... we started at about turn 20, and every 10 turns thereafter, we recorded our science, production, culture, and gold, 2 of the most important resources. I didn't do my faith because normally I don't build any sort of faith, and in the first game, neither did the AI, so it was kind of like pointless because both games I had like 0 faith all the way until the end, except for maybe the period where I had God King. So we are just going to compare these different stats. We're going to compare what techs we finished at, and we are going to explain how even if you decide to settle 10 cities, and if you decide to conquer 10 cities, you know, it's 10 cities, they might be even, but conquering 10 cities is a bajillion times better. In the first game, we had 2 civilizations. We got kind of lucky because Victoria and Mansa Musa duked it out. Now, the one thing that made this experiment sort of not even, I guess you could say, is for some reason, I thought I was not allowed to build campuses in the first game. Don't ask me how. I am not the brightest brain. I think I have like 3.5 brain cells working at maximum capacity right now, which obviously shows you how smart you have to be to use this strategy and win an early war. But yeah, I didn't build any campuses till like turn 50 when I finally realized, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? So yeah, there's a period where I literally just built scouts. I'm not even joking. I built like 6 or 7 scouts while I was waiting for horsemen, and after I built, it was just stupid. I mean, my God. But yeah, so I just built a butt ton of archers. Don't really know why. I literally had nothing else to build. I even ended up building the Temple of Artemis. So yeah, I do have to end up getting open borders because Mansa Musa is a greedy little fucker. But other than that, the game went off without a hitch. Victoria and Mansa Musa ended up absolutely pummeling each other, and I sat in the back watching like a cuckold before realizing that I wanted in on the action and hit England from the back. Now let's skip ahead to the action. Mansa Musa gave me a solid one goal to declare war, and I did, and my god, it was majestic. England had the surprise Pikachu face, and they cowered in fear while I took all of their cities. I did have a little bit of a loyalty problem, but other than that, it really went off without a hitch. Even the city of London wasn't too hard to kill. They had their military decimated by Mansa Musa, and most of their military was triremes, which just goes to show that the AI in Civilization 6 has a combined one brain cell between all 50 of them, I guess. Are there 50 functions? I don't know, something like that. So we do get catapults because we do have to go up against Mansa Musa, and I'm afraid he will get walls. But as you can see, London fell, Hull fell, what was that? Sheffield fell. And then they decided to build walls in their western city, the one city I didn't take. And I said, you know what? I could take the next 4 cities from Mansa Musa and get 10 cities. So I do decide to make peace with them after taking that last city. We do go political philosophy, and we do go for oligarchy to help our experience just a little bit. Now, we do have some loyalty problems, but the governors and making peace with England, as well as the decrease in grievances, definitely helped things a little bit, so we didn't really lose any more cities, I guess you could say. And I prepared my units on the border of Mansa Musa, and you guys probably know what happened next. The dude stood no chance against me. In fact, he actually filed for assault after I recorded this video. Mansa Musa is nowhere to be seen. His empire just completely disappeared, which helped me in my court case, and I didn't go to jail, thank God. But yeah, all jokes aside, we're gonna go, and they do build walls in their last city of Niani, which is their capital. But with my catapult, with my archers, with my horsemen, I was able to completely decimate Niani, as well as get that city to the south that was, I guess you could say, it was a free city. That's what they're called. Yes, free cities. So as you can see right now, our science wasn't really that high early on, but after about turn 90, when we knew we made peace with everybody and we started gaining loyalty, and all the occupation debuffs sort of went away, our cities became majestically more powerful. That's right, majestically more powerful, and we just skyrocketed. We went education, we beeline research, we almost got research labs by turn 150. That's absolutely insane, which actually goes to show you how easy this game was. And if I did build campuses early on like I probably should have, we would have had even more science. In fact, you probably would have had research labs by the end of the game. But yeah, we do end up in a golden age, and that golden age tremendously helps us when it comes to loyalty. We're building up our cities, we're getting builders, we're getting districts, and as you can see, the big blue and purple ween is just growing larger and larger and larger. Now, the Malian cities weren't exactly as good as the English cities, but they were still pretty damn effective. And aside from that free city to the south that refused to join either my or England's empire, we pretty much conquered 10 cities, right? We have 10 cities. And as you can see from this experiment, it is sort of really hard to put it in a vacuum how good it is compared to if I just settled 10 cities. So let's just end this game. I'm going to let it play a little bit quickly, and I will see you guys back when we are in the second experiment / test run. And we are back with the second test run. I was going to put it on the same map seed to make things a little more fair, but then I lost the map seed. I didn't save the configuration or something, I don't know. So we do end up playing on another map, and this is a little bit weird of a game, right? I only have Canada in this game because I can make friends with them and they won't declare war on me. But there were 2 natural wonders, and I didn't want like any sort, they were good natural wonders, like gave science and culture, and I didn't want any outliers, so I just decided to settle sort of around them. I did have a few cities near these natural wonders, but they only had like 1 or 2, maybe 3 tiles, so it really wasn't that big in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, we're pretty much just going to settle 10 cities. We're not going to conquer anything. In fact, we're not even going to build a military, which, you know, I'm sort of giving a massive advantage to the second test run, because not only does it have a few tiles from pretty good natural wonders, right? And I was going to settle the city of Toronto, by the way, but it didn't happen because Canada did. And I just decided to settle a city right beside the natural wonder, so I actually got more yields from the natural wonder than I would have otherwise. But in any case, yeah, I gave him, like, I didn't have to build a military either. No need to waste production on a military because I made friends with Canada really, really quickly. But yeah, it still doesn't matter. Settlers are extremely expensive. I was able to get out 10 settlers, and just for reference sake, I had 10 cities by turn 90 by the end of the American series, or the first video experiment, sorry. I had about 90 cities, and I had 10 cities by turn 107 in the second experiment. So that just goes to show you how much easier it is to take 8 other cities versus settling 8 other cities, because in the first experiment I did settle 2 cities. But yeah, our science and culture did keep pace with about it did keep pace until about turn 90 to 100. That is when the first experiment really started to pick up. And as you can see, it was just a massacre at this point. The first experiment had all the factories it needed. It was close to research labs. By the end of the second experiment, it didn't even come close to research labs. It didn't even research Merchant Republic, which the first experiment was able to do fairly easily. And yeah, that was pretty much the 2 experiments we had. I am going to show the graph on the screen. It is a pretty dog crap graph, I will say. And I did also post the table where I was recording like the numbers. You can see the turns on the left hand side. You can also see the yields. Science, obviously science per turn. Production is the total production per turn of all my cities combined. Yes, that took me a while to get. Culture is all my culture per turn, and obviously gold is my gold per turn. And as you can see, early war I had 10 cities by turn 90, and no early war I had 10 cities by turn 107. And as you can see, the first experiment absolutely blew the second experiment out of the water by the time it got to about turn 100, 120, and by about turn 150, it wasn't even close. Now I am going to go more in depth and explain why this phenomenon occurs, and explain sort of the mathematics behind it, and why settling cities is absolutely terrible, and why you should try to take as many cities as possible. So now that we have all the data, all the experiments are complete, we can now ask the question, why? Why is conquering cities much better than settling cities? And like I said, it would have been an even larger difference if we A, got a brain cell, because obviously beginning of the game I thought I wasn't allowed to build campuses in the first game for some reason. I literally built like 4 or 5 scouts at a time and just deleted them right after they were built. It was stupid, but I didn't want to restart, and I thought that I could still get my point across, which I did. And the other reason is if we went to turn 200, I would have had all research labs in my conquered cities, but in the second experiment where I settled the cities, I would have been just starting to get research labs. So it would have been an even massive difference if we continued to turn 200. I don't want to talk about everything. I wrote down all of my findings, all of my data. You're going to see it on the screen right now, scrolling down slowly. You can pause and read it at your own leisure. If you guys really want to, I guess I could download it on the internet maybe put it on Reddit or something. But essentially what this document is saying, and what I have found out, is when you settle a city, it costs more production. You start with less population. It takes longer for the city to get productive, for it to be able to contribute a certain amount of science, culture, and be able to build things, essentially. Whereas when you conquer a city, it's going to have higher population. It's already going to have stuff built, especially on Deity. It's going to have like 1 district and multiple built plots of land. So you can literally start going and building districts immediately. You can immediately get, I guess you can call it the uptime of the cities. And when you build cities versus conquering cities, the conquered cities will be in production faster, whereas the settled cities will take a lot longer to start hitting their stride. And this is a game about snowballing. The conquered cities will get to research labs much faster, which will give them more science, which will allow them to get to other technologies more faster, which will give them more science. And it continues like it's like a snowball. Like, for example, if you have 10 science versus 20 science, after 10 turns it'll be 20 science versus 40 science, and then 40 science versus 80 science. So instead of having like the 10 science difference at the beginning of the game, you now have a 40 science difference, which is how you win on Deity. You snowball. The reason the AI has so many advantages is to help them snowball. If you just sit back and settle cities, you're not going to win. However, if you take the initiative, build some units, they will be cheaper than building settlers, you will get more value out of the cities quicker, and you will be able to coast to a much easier victory. Now, next week I am going to be coming out with the how to do an early war kind of guide, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? Because that is something you should definitely consider. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.